37 million people are on food stamps nationwide. In Colorado, more than 500,000 are getting food stamps every month. Meanwhile, 348 shops are set up in Colorado to sell pot in the state, and food stamp cards have reportedly been used at pot shops, ATMs, at least 64 times. In the short time weed has been legal in Colorado. So are food stamps now going to pot? Jillian Melcher with the National Review uncovered this information. She joins us now. Jillian, in Colorado, we found 64 occurrences. Now, there are a lot more transactions going on, but in 64 specific times, people used an EBT card to take out cash and presumably to buy pot.
That's right. I mean, it's the temporary assistance for needy families. It's a cash benefit, not quite food stamps, but it's supposed to go to things like, you know, groceries, diapers for your kids, rent if you really need it. But I think this really raises concerns. I mean, it's at least 64 times that people are going in withdrawing cash. We don't know how much of that money is being used on weed, but the fact that there's potential for it's a real problem. So
let's talk about the program a little bit. EBT cards are they're federally funded, so federal taxpayer money goes into the cards, and then it's administered by each individual state. Now, New York passed a law saying you can't use it in strip clubs, casinos, and liquor stores. Colorado, though?
Colorado, you can't use it in places that sell alcohol, gun stores and casinos, but strip clubs and marijuana are a totally gray area right now. And I think marijuana in particular is an interesting one because even the federal government hasn't addressed EBT use at marijuana stores. I think it's something they didn't even think they'd have to address. But as people are experimenting with legalized marijuana in Colorado, I think that's a real regulatory oversight that needs to be reckoned with.
Sure. So, you know, the nature of the program, the SNAP program, Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, right?
It's actually the Temporary Assistance for Needy Families is what I looked at, not
in
SNAP
Colorado.
At all. In Colorado, correct.
But if you extrapolate it on the bigger picture, food stamp usage went from about $39 billion in 2008 to $105 billion in 2013. A lot of room for some fraud, waste, and abuse, no?
There sure is. I mean, this is a slightly different program, but I think really the principles here still holds true that welfare dollars shouldn't be going to weed, and that right now there aren't sufficient safeguards. It's not addressed in state law. It's not addressed in federal law. And I think that really opens up the potential for abuse, which is what we saw in Colorado.
So, but isn't this what's... here's the issue, right? So you can use the card.
Yep.
You don't have to use it for the purchase you're making. You can use it for cash.
Exactly.
Take the cash out and go buy whatever the heck you want with it.
Exactly. And I think in Colorado there's a good reason to suspect that's going to weed.
So what do you think should happen here? Do you think the state needs to add the pot dispensaries to the other ones? What's the other one that they haven't gotten around to?
Strip clubs.
So in Colorado you can still go to a strip club and use the cash.
Withdraw cash for your lap dance.
This is crazy.
I think so too.
So do we suspect this is going on in other states as well?
Well, I mean, Colorado is really the first that's experimenting with recreational marijuana in the way that it is. But I definitely think as other states consider legalization, which, by the way, I favor, this is something that they need to address. I think it basically is a huge oversight that needs to be plugged.
All right, Jillian Melcher, we can leave right there. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Interesting stuff.
Thank you.